right, Joanne, get next to the meat camera operator and tell me what you know I got for Bob. Okay. Just when you're next to Bob.
Tell me right when it's out of frame. Start sending it up, Joe, slowly. Going up slow, Steve.
I play a killer, basically, a bad dude. You know, I've been tracking people for centuries, and I'm an enigma of sorts. You know, nobody really knows exactly what I am in the film.
Darwin would love this guy. I mean, he's just a higher up on the food chain, and he's doing what he's got to do. You know, now that you mention it, he's not such a bad guy after all.
It's not all that often that a director or a producer will ask the makeup artist or the makeup effects artist their opinion on something. They'll just say, when can we have this? When they were doing their casting, their tests, when they were interviewing different actors to do it, they actually asked me my opinions on who they were thinking on choosing, and naturally they went with Jonathan Breck. He had a lot of charisma, and I thought he had a great look.
Like most auditions, 95% of the people aren't even in the ballpark. 4% are, yeah, there's something there, but 1% is like, that's it. You know it when you see it. You know, it's like within the first 10 seconds. Breck shaved his head for the part, so he walked in completely bald-headed.
I had a really strong feeling that this character would be, you know, would be really clean and bald, and that's what I wanted to show him. So I shaved my head and went in and got the part.
Jonathan Breck.
He's a very nice-looking guy, but once he took his hair away, he didn't look nice anymore. His eyes just kind of burned out at you, and he was very intimidating. And when he first came in and did the sniff test, we called it, you know, we were scared, really scared.
Victor and Brad Parker had been working on designs, from what I understand, for about 8 months. By the time they came to us to ask us to build stuff, they already had a design for the creature pretty well locked down. They knew what they wanted, and it was our job to take it and make changes to it so that it was practical to do on a human being. The script originally said that the creature has facial wings that open up, so we were trying to design series of wrinkles and things that we could somehow make it believable.
Having somebody who's basically encased in a creature costume and shooting in a humid, warm environment is always a challenge.
There's been a few times when I've been like, you know, felt like things were closing in on me a little bit. You know, one night that comes to mind is when I'm riding on top of the car, on the roof of the cop car, and I actually pull the cop through the roof of the car and chop his head off with my battle axe. That night was, you know, just in the full makeup. I was leaning over, squatting down, basically in a squatting position the whole time, and pouring a sweat to the point where the cameraman and everybody next to me was literally, wasn't even a drip, it was literally a...
For the Creeper, we built 5 complete suits and then about 10 masks, both stunt masks and masks that Jonathan Breck wears, as well as numerous prosthetic appliances that we use for the closer days when they're going to be shooting close-up.
Brian's one of those guys whose work is so incredible that half of the pictures he had done, I didn't know they had makeup effects in them. That, to me, is the greatest compliment that I can pay a makeup effects person. I mean, I didn't know Al Pacino had a fake nose in the Oliver Stone picture, and I didn't know that Brian did it, so it's like, wow.
Jonathan has gone to great lengths to not get to know our actors on the set at all. So when the kids first are revealed to the creature, It is on set, on camera.
I think it's a great idea that if they got to know me as a person, they would see somebody behind the creature, and we really didn't want them to do that.
Anything that we can do to help our fear, I think, is good. And that the unknown, the fact that we haven't met him yet, and that he's really just still a mysterious thing, is going to be good.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and he said, "No, where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in the middle of a retirement village in Central Florida, and there's a hurricane coming, and I can't hang out with any of the cast, you know." And he was like, "Oh, wow, this is a pretty grueling shoot for you." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's going to pay off."
Victor is very shot specific. When he lines up to do something, he knows exactly what he wants to see, and thank God for that, because then we can adjust what we need to do. If we know that the creature is going to be squatting down over a victim, then we can make sure that there aren't any weird imperfections showing on the backside of the suit or up his crotch, or areas where there would be tension on the rubber and it would look strange. We'd see it stretching like a rubber suit and not looking like flesh over muscles. He already had a ponytail type hair piece in the back of the design before we were involved, so I wanted to incorporate patches of hair into like the groin, the crotch area that we could easily hide flaps, and patches up the back to hide zippers, and bring some more hair onto the body and give it something interesting to look at. Victor is very attentive. He's very alert, and when he hears a comment and he likes it, he'll work with it. In one case, once he finally saw Jonathan in the complete suit when we did like a dress rehearsal for him, he thought, wow, maybe we should show more of the creature in its entirety, because originally the end of the film was the only time we saw the creature as his true form, whether it be a demon or a gargoyle or whatever you want to call it. That was very late in the film. But once Victor saw the suit, he was like, I want to see more of this in the film. I don't want to keep him in his clothing.
I can take credit for the idea of this creature, and I did get to make the final decisions on its look, but without Brad and then Brian, you know, those are the guys that really delivered a truly original and indelible creature to the movie, and for that I am, you know, forever grateful.
I lied for me.
No, come on. You lied for both of us. You actually did something decent for me. That's a part of history you can't change.
I really feel like Victor has created a story that's an archetype, that this is a story of those two kids going down that lonely country road and running into some kind of wild, mystical thing.
After a summer of watching The Blair Witch and The Sixth Sense, and remembering that these were the kinds of movies that I made in high school and joyously made in high school and never thought of making any other kind of film, that I should really write my monster movie. And Jeepers Creepers just kind of leapt out of that. And I grew up watching the old Universal movies. I'm not from the Freddy generation or from the Friday the 13th generation. I'm too old for that. My brother and I would watch creature features with Bob Wilkins was our host, and we'd watch Creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula and Frankenstein and all the old Universal monster movies, which were based more on suspense and shadows on the wall, which, even though Jeepers Creepers will have a few graphic moments, we've tried hard not to really predicate it on gore, but rather on suspense and on images that would be hard to forget, just because they're sort of unnerving and indelible.
It's really a very simple story. Boy, girl, creature.
I like devoting my time to one or two characters. In fact, if you look at any of my films, you'll see that I like to stick to one person. He's usually a person close to my own sensibilities, because I know and trust his reactions, and I think I can authentically portray his or her journey through the film. Darry, who's the younger brother, you know, I had no problem writing him because he felt so much like me. But the older sister, and I do have an older sister, and this is partially based on her because she is a very strong and smart survivor I don't think I wrote her to her full potential. And Gina Phillips, who plays her, came in and she wasn't going to let me get away with any false moments. She became Trish and said, no, Trish really wouldn't do this. Wouldn't she do this and this? And she didn't make her part grow out of some kind of ego. She made her part grow because she was absolutely right. This is not a person who would stand by and watch this happen. She'd be more active in this. She'd be more assertive here. That's an example of how my own limitations as a writer are forgiven because of the talents of casting smart. We wanted to read everyone, and we boiled it down from about, I would say, at least 70 or 80 girls in town to 2 really gifted ones that we felt just played for real instead of posed.
You just said you didn't know everything. Now just what the hell are you full of shit about, and what aren't you, okay?
You think this is some kind of fun for
I'll
me?
just cut the fucking bullshit and tell us what the hell you're trying to do! Darry starts as a very light, open, innocent kind of character, and mine, Trish from the beginning, is a bit cynical. She's wounded. She's just broken up with her boyfriend, who's done some not so nice things to her, and I think she's been wounded by a man or two, and she has lots of walls up, and she's much guarded, more guarded than he is, and she's, you know, kind of tough and guarded and very preoccupied and very pensive.
You wanna know something? When I first heard that story, I used to think this was the highway I would die on.
Quite the cheery thinker today, aren't we, sis? God, what's poli-sci guy been doing to you anyway?
I actually asked myself 100 questions I wrote down and then wrote hundreds of pages for about a month, 6 weeks of just writing about her and thinking about her and figuring what her favorite music was and what things that are totally not in the script but just help me connect to her, so that way I feel like I know who she is. I'm confident in her shoes no matter what's thrown at me. I don't have to think, oh, what would Trish do in this situation? I know what Trish would do in that situation.
I've never really gotten to do anything like this. I've done a little running around in movies, but never like this. And I've always wanted to be in a horror movie. I've always wanted to do stuff like this because it's just cool. It's a very childish level. It's just cool to be able to run away from a bad guy. Just knowing that this is his brainchild and it's his creation and it's his thing, you know. And from the beginning, I remember when I first met him for the audition, it was unlike any other audition because before I even started reading, he spent a lot of time really just talking to me he made me very comfortable, very relaxed.
But I'll tell them, it's none of your goddamn business. Jesus, Darry! What's this guy trying to do? Just get out of his way. Well, he's nuts! Get out of his way, Darry!
And now he almost runs you off the road and goes swishing past.
Shit! What the hell is his problem? My first guess?
Inbreeding! I love the fact that it's a brother-sister relationship instead of your normal, you know, romantic relationship. It's not a love interest. And he's wonderful. Justin, I just adore him. From the second he walked in the room, I auditioned with different guys, and they had me read with a few different young men. And when Justin walked in, it was like an immediate spark. When those things were right away, we felt like brother and sister, and it just, everything came off the pages, and it was wonderful.
You can't call it now.
My ass!
You have to call it when you see it. You can't...
I was in shock! Fuck! I don't remember there being so many rules to this game. Of course, when there was, you were the one making them, weren't you? I was Junior Nazi.
I see her as a sister now. You know, it was very easy. She made it very easy. I think with any other actresses, I might have had a hard time. She's very honest, you know, and so we just played off of one another.
Good.
Bitch.
Mama's boy,
Daddy's whore.
dick licker,
Ball sniffer.
ass kisser.
Butt picker.
Repeat, ass and butt, you lose.
That's why I think it was important for me to figure out what their history was so that when we play one of those games, I know, is this something we've played for 10 years, or is this something that's the first time we've played it? And that changes what we're doing and how we're relating to each other.
I think that's another reason I love his script so much. You know, they're not written in sort of a contrived way. They're not like setups to lead to another series of horrible events and a series of, you know, creature sightings.
I love that the heart of the movie wasn't about slashing, or the heart of the movie is this relationship with the brother and sister.
If you cast really smart and you've got people who really inhabit the characters and come up with really good suggestions that are still on the same page as your story, they help it grow and change into something even more authentic. I learned it from you. Why don't you just, I told you I learned it from you and kick it, because you're going to come around the side here anyway. You just kind of Studios used to be afraid to use writer-directors because they felt that the writers were so in love with their words that once they got onto the set, they wouldn't be able to let anything go or anything change. Now it's like the industry has changed. It's like they want writer-directors, but I think the important part of being a writer-director is being able to know that the writing is the first stage, and you're a proud papa, but in the next stage, you have to be a responsible parent and let that story grow and change and become something that might be outside what you wanted it to be.
What's really difficult is shooting scenes, like I said, in piecemeal, and having to physically get your heart up to a state of you know, shock and trauma. So I do a lot of running around before and a lot of push-ups just to get, you know, the blood flowing and the blood pumping, like visibly shaking. It's one thing to feel that, but it's another, it has to be a physical thing. The whole body's got to be involved.
Having the director also be the writer, when something's not working or he has to change something because suddenly the weather's changed, he rewrites the scene like this. He makes it work. He wants our opinions. He wants our input. If I have an idea, there's never a moment where he's like, well, it's different than my line. He wants whatever's best for the movie, whatever's best for the characters.
What if it was you, instead of looking away, stare him down for that pregnant moment and see how that plays, okay? You're doing great, though. Both things. I think names get in the way of a story like this. But I love the idea that these kids are just breaking. Off camera almost just, but you're great. But we're on you and we're buying it 100%. Thanks to Francis, we had the autonomy to hire whoever we wanted, which is rare. And I was thrilled that we got fresh faces and really, really gifted ones.